effort, but and people don't know this. I signed a fight contract to fight Deontay Wilder in May.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's fighting someone.
Let's talk about that.
Next week. And I still haven't got paid for him canceling the contract to fight me. I can show you the contract. I have it. Like, wow. Like, I signed a contract. I'm sorry. It's just so overbearing because...
You don't have to apologize at all. Don't even apologize. You have no apologies necessary.
I have signed a contract from BLK Prime to fight Deontay Wilder in May. As of March, the fight was canceled. And then next thing you know, in April, he's fighting a guy by the name of Terrell Hernandez that Richard Torres knocked out when I fought Guido as of November. And then they offered me to fight Richard Torres a week later to fight, and I ended up going 8 rounds.
And there is Curtis Harper blasting Deontay Wilder about ducking him. He's had signed to fight Deontay Wilder. As we guys know, Curtis Harper was in line to fight Deontay Wilder. Then all of a sudden, he was fighting Tyrell Herndon, okay? And to me, he was on, I don't know what the name of the podcast was, but he was on that particular podcast. And he was explaining on how mysteriously they just packed up everything and left after he signed the contract. And he never fought him, and he doesn't know why. They didn't give him an explanation. They didn't call him. They didn't reply. All of a sudden, that Deontay Wilder was fighting another guy. Bars. Let me counterpunch, though. If I was Curtis Harper, because that's what he's looking for. He's looking to get paid from them pulling out of the fight. So what happens if the fighter, the premier fighter, signs to fight a guy and their promotional team and all that agree, and they agree to terms, and then for whatever reason, they pull out of the fight, and it's not because of injury or not because of a failed drug test or anything like that or some kind of date discrepancy. No, if they pull out of the fight just because they didn't want to fight that guy and they changed their mind to fight another guy, which appears to has happened, in that case, they owe that fighter, because that fighter could have had other negotiations that he was dealing with that he could have possibly fought. He could have had another fighter he could have fought in that time frame, in that window of time, and that's unacceptable. So what I would do about that, I would sue Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder needs to be sued. He needs to be held accountable, because the reason for him pulling out, it doesn't even matter now. The point is, he pulled out. Okay, there was no weight class. These guys are heavyweights, so you can that. It wasn't it wasn't a discrepancy of that. It was just 1 minute it was Curtis Harper, and then like a week or so later, then it was Tyrell Herndon. Then you're like, well, wait a minute. Well, hold on. What happened to Curtis Harper? Now Curtis Harper is saying that, hey, they ain't even paid me yet. So I think that's wrong. For one, I think that's unprofessional, because, you have guys like Deontay Wilder, Shelly Finkel, JD's is still there. And of course, Don House is his new trainer. But I think, his team needs to be more in depth. But I'll say this too. It's also a reflection on not having Al Heyman around. And it's sad, and it makes Shelly Finkel, his promoter, looks really bad, because that should have been dealt with. That should have been addressed. Not, hey, we're going to fight you. You got the contract. You got it signed, sealed, delivered, emailed, faxed, or whatever over, and then you fight someone else. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But if I was Curtis Harper, you know how these fighters are that don't really have this respected representation, or the known representation from their manager or their promoter. This is how they get done. Look at Michael Hunter. You know what I mean? Look at guys like that have all the talent in the world, but they don't have the right type of promotional backing that does the responsible things to protect them in situations like that. See, Wilder could just, they packed up everything and just decided, hey, we're going to go another direction. And that's bad for Curtis Harper, because Curtis Harper is a guy, he's a journeyman. He's fought everybody. He's the guy that walked out on the Efe Ajagba fight. And a lot of people don't know why he did that. He walked out off that fight because his manager said that he wasn't going to get paid what they agreed to get paid. And again, that just shows you, though, it's a reflection on his team as well, because his team should have had something in play that, hey, if you pull out of this fight, you got to pay us. I think, and I believe it should be that way anyway, but who knows? Because what's in the contract is what's in the contract. You can't just sign some shit on some paper and not read what you signed. So we don't know what the stipulations are of that contract. You know what I mean? He said, I still got the contract. Well, he needs to read the contract, he and his team, and see what it is. Or his lawyer, really. He basically needs a lawyer to read, to see what these words mean that you don't understand, or what these terms mean, or how it's structured, and what's going to happen in this particular fight, or what's going on in this contract in its entirety. And some of these contracts are a lot bigger than people think they are. You know, they're big and they're structured, and they're set a certain way for, lawyers to understand. So Curtis Harper needs him a lawyer. However, I don't know if he can afford one, hell, because I haven't seen Curtis Harper in a while, but I mean, he just fought recently back in May. But the thing is, he agreed to fight Deontay Wilder, and then they reneged on him and didn't tell him anything. And that's not good for boxing. But again, both sides looks shady. On Curtis Harper's side, he needs a better team. On Deontay Wilder's side, he probably needs a better team. But you guys tell me what you think of Curtis Harper ripping Deontay Wilder for not paying him for the cancellation of the fight that he signed up for. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.